The law and order announcements keep coming, with the government today announcing harsher trespass laws to protect businesses. It follows a raft of policies this week, including spot fines for shoplifters and a new coward punch offence. Political correspondent Zane Small spoke to a former police negotiator who described the new laws as a start to reducing crime, but says there is not enough focus on enforcement.
Pushing the message.
We promised New Zealanders that we would restore law and order.
And pushing out the announcements.
Too often shoplifting goes unpunished, and that's going to change.
Today, a proposal to allow businesses to trespass an individual from multiple locations to tackle retail crime.
So that people can't just move from one to the other, and obviously we'll be sending it off to select committee, and people will be able to have a debate about just how to manage that.
What we're seeing is a government that only cares about punching down on one side, but doesn't actually have the evidence to suggest that policies like this will have the intended outcome of deterrence.
There's never any excuse to steal. We have a very comprehensive welfare system in this country, and I don't agree with the Greens.
The government would also increase the maximum trespass period from 2 years to 3. The top fine for refusing to leave a premises would rise from $1,000 to $2,000, and those who refuse to give their name and address when requested could be fined up to $1,000, up from $500.
We are drawing a line in the sand and saying that offending behaviour, intimidation of people who are trying to make a good living is no longer acceptable.
It's one of several law and order announcements this week, including spot fines for shoplifters of up to $1,000 and harsher penalties for theft. Before that, it was a new coward punch offence, and also longer prison sentences for those who assault first responders. The government aims to introduce all the new policies into law by the end of the year. The latest announcement, for example, will require an amendment to the Trespass Act. The legislation hasn't actually been written yet because the government is still exploring how best to support retailers when offenders don't engage. An issue of enforcement.
It's a start. If we can bring in some support for police and the investigations, or even having investigative structures within supermarkets, for example, with facial recognition and the certainty of being caught, has found, if you combine them both, is a great way of deterring crime.
That's why we're investing, putting more resources into having more police available, and why we've emphasised more police being on the beat and on the street.
A selection of police data released today on those beat patrols shows a reduction in crime over the past 12 months. For example, robberies are down by 25% in Auckland, 22% in Wellington and 67% in Christchurch.
There hasn't been any convincing data being released around trend. And I think that's probably something I'm more interested in, not a pinpoint a particular moment.
But at least in this moment, the government will be pleased those numbers match up with its tough on crime mantra.